Hi folks, it's Dr. Hudgens. I have read your annotated bibliographies that you submitted through the wiki and also your discussion board posts, and I provided feedback in the associated rubrics for your review. I was really pleased with the variety of books that you guys came up with. Attached to this email with this video, I have given you the attached copy of your annotated bibliography from your group submission so that you have a recommended reading list. You can file it away for later when you are not so busy and see if there's something on that reading list that may interest you, that may balance out your own personal library of leadership books. Lots of great suggestions, several of which I had not read, so I've added them to my very long list of books I want to read. Your discussion boards were equally well thought out. The concept of fractals is such a neat concept. I think it's pretty simple. So many of you appropriately explored the way that fractals are represented through leadership in their behaviors and their approaches to their work environment. Even better, many of you connected leadership behaviors with organizational mission and vision and purpose, and connected the thought with how those things are demonstrated in leadership behaviors. One of your classmates, Brian, did a really nice job at giving a really good summary of what this looked like. Brian wrote that the adoption of culture standards by the organizational leadership and employees can provide a framework to ensure that strong relationships are forged and maintained. This shared mindset and behaviors will provide the organization the means for positive collaboration amongst the disciplines, which in turn has been shown to improve outcomes. Once again, the fractal concept is applied here in regard to the actions and behaviors set forth by the leadership team, which is then adopted and manifested in the employees of the organization, thus recreating itself. It's a great way to really explain how we are so interconnected with each other in the organization that our behaviors as leaders really do impact our team, and that we need to be always mindful of what our organizational culture is and make sure that as leaders we've adopted the organizational mindset and behaviors, and that we positively role model that for our employees and our team. So I appreciate the way that Brian put those ideas together. Lots of great ideas. Let's shift gears really quick. I want to talk about some APA highlights, some things that I want to caution you and see you work towards improving. Before I go any further, I went back and opened up all the links where you all had, not all of you, but many of you had shared pictures in your introductory paragraphs or introductory discussion boards. And I was so excited to be able to put faces with names with people I had had in other courses. I had my own idea of what people look like. So it's really cool to see that you don't look anything like I thought you would. You all are really pretty people. Such cute kids and puppies. I was so excited to be able to see a little window into your world. So please know that I appreciate your efforts to connect in that way. From an APA standpoint, I want you to be mindful at the graduate level, you should be using direct quotes very minimally. You should be synthesizing what you read in sources in your research and be able to tell us what that means in your own words. You'd use an in-text citation at the end of that to give the author proper credit, and then synthesize those concepts within the greater body of your work. Rarely are you going to be using direct quotes. Sometimes you just can't say it any better, and the way that the author has written it is extremely profound. That's a zebra, not a horse, so use it sparingly and know that that's the expectation is that you really are synthesizing your concepts. When you are writing papers, be mindful of word count and page length. The idea behind putting word count and page length in an assignment rubric is to give you a guide of what we feel like is expected in being able to explore a concept appropriately. So as you write a paper, if the guide of the paper is 5 to 7 pages and you are working on 9, 10, 11 content pages, Go back to your paper and reread it and look at areas that you have spent more time in than was necessary and clean those extra areas up. Ask yourself, have I addressed what is being required of me in the assigned rubric? Have I overdone some areas and not appropriately addressed others? Make sure there's a balance in your content. Very often, when papers exceed a paper recommendation length, it is because the person is either not real clear on the topic and they're kind of wandering in their writing, or because they get super excited about a topic and they continue to write and write and write, unable to curb that excitement. I'm going to caution you that as you move forward in your graduate work and hopefully look at a doctoral program, you're going to have real strict guidelines on your length and body of work. So work towards concise writing now. Write what's relevant, write concisely, and follow your assigned rubric. The other thing I've noticed is that if your article online does not have a DOI, several of you have not done anything with that missing information. If your article does not have a DOI that's associated with it, first and foremost, ask yourself, is this a scholarly source? Is it from a peer-reviewed journal? Is it an actual research article versus a commentary or an opinion piece? And is the journal reputable? If all those things are true, and is it current, last 5 years? If all those things are true, and you're certain that your source is a reputable source, it's peer-reviewed, it's current, and it's research, and there's no DOI, then what you will do is you will do a website URL. It's the link of where you found it in your electronic databases. So if you CINAHL or EBSCO, wherever you found it, you're going to go in and copy that hyperlink, and you're going to copy that where you would have a DOI. You would then put the hyperlink instead of it. I want to caution you that if you use a hyperlink directly from, like if you go through the Jerry Falwell library and you hyperlink that way, the hyperlink is likely to be 4 or 5 lines. You're going to use an abbreviated hyperlink. Back out all of the XYZs up until you get to your search engine, delete everything else so you have an abbreviated hyperlink, and use that so that someone can appropriately find that article if they were looking for it. From an APA standpoint, I think we're good. From next week, you've got your first part of a 2-part assignment to look at quality. I'm going to encourage you to really sit and think about the issues within your organization. What is currently the hot topics? What are the ongoing problematic quality issues within your practice setting? And focus on one issue that you feel like you have an idea of something that could be done differently to improve how your organization is dealing with it. The first part of this assignment is your paper part. It's to discuss the topic and how it's currently being handled, as well as prevalence rates and what's going on organizationally. It's the history, it's the structure. Part 2 is a voiceover PowerPoint that gives your perspective of how you're currently handling the problem within your organization and how you would recommend a change in that practice to a more evidence-based intervention. So read through part 1 and part 2 very carefully and be sure that you start out on the right foot and deal with a quality issue. Sometimes we get different issues that they're organizational issues, but they're not related to quality. So make sure you're on the right path with that. That is about all I have. Know that I'm here. Know that I realize that online learning can be a little isolative and can be lonely. Know that I'm here. If you have questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out and touch base and let me know how I can help support you. Know that I'm praying for you this week. I hope that at some point you're able to poke your head outside and enjoy the beautiful fall weather. I'm here in the Blue Ridge Mountains and the leaves are just starting to change. So it is absolutely beautiful here. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying God's gift of nature as well, and that you have a week full of blessings. Take care.